of the universe, as the stars in the sky, as the leaves on the trees, as the wind and the water, and the myriad forms of life, and the light which guides my life through the days and the millions of days, as the earth moves through the great cosmos. Dakshinachitra began with a vision to bring to light the way of life that once was and still is prevalent in the interiors of South India. At Dakshinachitra, 18th, 19th and early 20th century houses, built differently in the different regions, speak for the traditional worldview of the South Indian. Kerala, a land with a rich cultural tradition, is also rich in its tropical forests and abundant water. At Dakshinachitra, the houses from Kerala reflect this artistic and religious heritage. Tamil Nadu has its own style of creative folk art, colorful, vivid and vivacious. Silk and cotton weaving by handloom is a major local and export industry in Tamil Nadu. The weaver's house at Dakshinachitra has been brought from Kanchipuram, the South Indian center for the rich silk saris coveted by Indian women. These huge houses found in the arid rural area of Chettinad belong to the merchant community of Tamil Nadu, the Chettiars. Merchants who traveled throughout Southeast Asia and built these homes, which are noted for their beautiful wood and stone carvings. The universe to the South Indian is square, sacred at its center and vulnerable at the edges and corners. He saw his house as a microcosm of the universe, as an organic living space, subject to both good and bad energies. He believed that the walls and roof have the effect of projecting the pulsating cosmic forces into this space. The outside veranda or tinnai is where the tired wayfarer can rest for a while, where the family members interact with friends and neighbors and with society at large. Only with the influence of westernization at the turn of the century, a separate room for guests began to be built, which became the equivalent of a modern living room. At Dakshinachitra, only the Kerala Syrian Christian house reflects this innovation. The lighting of a lamp at dawn begins the day in South Indian homes. The women then draw the auspicious columns in front of their homes, intricate traditional patterns which trace the movements of the sun, the moon and the cardinal directions. The doors are decorated with the red of kumkumam and the auspicious yellow of turmeric, an antiseptic to protect the wood from insects. The tree is worshipped in the temple and the tulsi plant in the home. Nature is celebrated through its seasonal festivals. It is time now to tune in to the subtler tones of the universe. A time to prepare for new beginnings, for a fresh turn of the circle of life, to start all over again and again and again.
That was a lovely video. I'm glad to know that you're making a new one, and look forward to that. Hello and welcome to the Knowledge Wednesday edition by the Destination Knowledge Center. My name is Kuntil Barwa. Today we have a fascinating topic, Dakshinachitra, which is Chennai's best open-air living museum. It's a repository of culture of the living arts of South India through vernacular architecture, arts, crafts, and contemporary conversations. And to tell us more, we have with us Sharath Nambiar, who is the director of Dakshinachitra Open Air Museum. Prior to this is very interesting. He was running the Madras Crocodile Bank Trust and has considerable experience in the conservation and handling of reptiles, particularly crocodiles and snakes. He is a keen environmentalist and gardener and is also interested in reading, writing, performing arts, restoration of buildings, conservation, cycling, and trekking. Welcome, Mr. Nambiar. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on this Knowledge Wednesday edition. And I now hand over the floor to you. But before doing that, let me share the PowerPoint, which I'll be hosting today on your behalf.
Thank you, Kuntal. Yeah. It's a pleasure to be with you all, and hi to everybody in the Sita family.
Is the PowerPoint, can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I hand over the floor to you, Mr. Nambiar, once again. Thank you.
Yeah. Should I off the video?
Totally depends on you. If you can speak for some time and then turn it off, that will save us some bandwidth.
Fine, fine, fine.
Yeah, you will not see me, but I can hear you, so you can let me know whenever you want me to change the slide.
Sure.
All right.
So, as you saw from the video, Dakshin Titra is an open-air museum. We are located on the East Coast Road, on the panoramic East Coast Road, on the way to Mahabalipuram, just 25 kilometers from Chennai. So we have been in existence. We opened our gate to the public in 1996, but we started a journey way back in 1986 when we acquired the land. It was just bare land with 4 palmyra trees, and now we've transformed this space into a lovely museum, open air museum, having 18 historical homes and so much to it. Yeah, and I would say that visitors from all over India and from overseas should visit Dakshin Titra, and because they get a good impression of South India and its interiors before they embark on a journey to southern towns and villages. Usually nowadays, expressways and high lanes, highways actually bypass many of these lovely villages and the rural life in general, and they will not get to see all of it unless they know its nook and corners. But we in Dakshin Titra, we have managed to bring this whole section of South India, the 5 states, and we are able to display that for all the visitors and give them a good idea of the rest of India. You can start the presentation, Chintan. This is how it was in 1986, just 4 palmyra trees and bare sand. Next, please. I guess everybody would have heard of the famous Laurie Baker, the famous architect, conservation architect. He helped conceptualize the whole museum. He came and spent a few days here and told us how we could go about it. And he gave us the idea to actually move houses from South India and bring them here and reconstruct them here. That's the way we began, and we still are continuing that journey. So every building that we have in the museum has been painstakingly documented, researched, identified, and brought here piece by piece and reconstructed exactly like how it was in its original form. We even use the same techniques to rebuild. Continue, please. See, this is a house that we have built recently, our latest addition to the museum. We have 18 homes, and this is a house from Chikmagalur, Karnataka. So this is how we build, using the old timber, the old windows, the doors, of course, the mortar and everything was added here, but every element of the house is brought from the region. Next. Next, please. We have 18 historical homes in the museum. This is one fine example. This is the first house that we put up, a Chettinad mansion. It belonged to the Chettiars, the wealthy businessmen and money lenders of those times. And this house is, I think, 1850. So it took us quite a while to rebuild this house, but we have done it in its entirety, and it's, it's a magnificent house with palatial uh, pillars and the thinna and its main entrance door is extraordinarily beautiful. You should all come to see it to believe it, actually. Next, please. That's the thinna inside, where where the chettiars used to ply their business, ply their trade. All those magnificent pillars are from Indonesia, which they were in Indonesia for a long time, and they have managed to bring all those wood back to their homes and use them to reconstruct their homes. This is a house from Kanchipuram, a weaver's house. So in this house, we have the weaver actually weaving the saris and showing how the loom is operated. So people are so fascinated by this kind of a display and work. Next, please. This is a display of Chettinad and Kanchipuram saris. We have numerous saris that we have collected over a period of time. Many people donate their saris, and we have and we keep changing them every month. Next, please. This is a fascinating display of bronze ritual items. It's the Gallery of Religious Art. Is a great gallery which many people come from far to see this. Yes. Next, please. This is another exhibition of religious art. Next, please. This is a lovely house from Kerala. We have 4 houses from Kerala. And this is how presently we have had copious rains, and this is how the place looks right now. The water, we have a moat which goes through, meanders through the entire museum. And when it rains abundantly, the water fills up in these moats. And we even use boats and to navigate the waters there. It's so lovely to see now after the rains. Next, please. All the houses that we have brought here are houses which belong to not to the wealthy and elite, but to the common man. So, that's what we wanted to display here. To businessmen, to traders, to the potter, to the weaver, that kind of houses. This house is actually not a house in the strict sense. It's a granary, actually. It used to be used to store grain, paddy, coconut, copra, rubber, and all of that. This was in Kerala, Kutharpuram. Next, please. This is the same house which they were building before, Chikmagalur House. It's a lovely house, 1907. Yeah, and we brought it from Chikmagalur. It's Allur in Chikmagalur. It's a lovely house with almost 80% of the elements are entirely timber. We had a great difficulty. Actually, it took us 4 years to rebuild this house, but it's been worth it. It's magnificent. Next, please. This is another house from Karnataka. It belonged to a weaver, and this is how each of the houses look. We have managed to display the lifestyle and how people would live in those houses at that period of time. Next, please. Actually, so we have 18 homes, and we are in the process of adding another 4 or 5 homes in the near future. Actually, we have already brought the elements of another house in from Kerala, a Muslim house from Kerala. We have brought it, and we are going to soon start reconstructing it. And another house we have contracted from Coorg, which we brought in March of 2021. Next, please. This is an Ayyanar shrine, which you see all over Tamil Nadu. You will see them dotted the landscape of the villages in Tamil Nadu, which is very auspicious for the villages. So it is supposed to be protecting all the villages and the village people in these villages. Yes. Next, please. This is a lovely building which we added. It's not a historic building. It's a building which houses the gallery and the library. We have a fantastic library in the museum which houses more than 17,000 books on art, culture, traditions, and dance and music. Next, please. So we have a conservation team. We have a conservation laboratory which we teach students how to conserve old objects and artifacts. Next, please. This is the library. It's a fantastic space for reference. Next, please. We have a restaurant in the museum which serves authentic South Indian food, traditional food, and run by one of the famous chefs in India, Chef Raji. Yeah? And people come just to enjoy the delicious food in our restaurant because they serve traditional South Indian food. And the food changes according to the season. Like when it is Dasara time, we serve Karnataka food there. And when it is Onam time, we serve Kerala food. So it changes. Each time you come, you'll see a different cuisine and menu. It's so lovely. Next, please. We have guest rooms and villas for people, artists to stay and guests to stay, and for the weddings. We conduct numerous weddings and guests are allowed to stay in these rooms also. Next, please. Dakshin Chitra is a center for the arts and crafts of South India and India also. So we have so many people conducting their arts and crafts here. Like we have the potter here, who's a resident potter. He and his son actually have created all the wonderful artifacts that you see all over the museum. He is Ramu and he's been with us for more than 20 years. Next, please. He is a stone craftsman. These are cholas from Ooty. We bring them here every year. So they will sing and dance and they will be doing the embroidery also while they sing and dance. Next, please. Next, please. He is a weaver who is weaving a Kanchipuram sari. Keshavan. Next, please. These are a ceramic center. We have a ceramic center which teaches ceramics, and guests who come can also engage themselves in all these crafts when they come. Next, please. Activities. Activities as the USP of Dakshin Tirtha. Unlike most other museums, like if you go to a regular museum, it will be all just objects kept behind shelves and dusty shelves, and But our museum is totally different in the sense it's a space for performance and arts and crafts, and it's vibrant because we call it a living museum. We have many people come here and engage themselves in so many activities, watching different performances. Every time you come, there's something new for you and for the guests. So look, we have fortune tellers. She reads the palm and tells you your fortune, which many people come just to see her. Next, please. We have a traditional puppet theater, and we have a very versatile puppeteer, Selvalaj, who has been with us for so many years, and we actually people, children enjoy the traditional puppet shows that he puts up. And we also do international puppet festivals every 2 years, and we do national puppet festivals every year. So people get to see all these wonderful arts that are slowly going to, slowly vanishing from our world. Next, please. People who come here get to see how columns are drawn, and they can also engage themselves in drawing columns. These columns are drawn in front of every house in the south of India, and it's a wonderful way to keep the house auspicious. And next, please. So these are so many of the activities. She's teaching the girl how to do basket making. Next, please. Children. We have large number of children coming to Dakshin Tirtha. We have more than 70,000 children come every year and engage themselves in so many activities in the museum. They come in the morning and spend the entire day, like doing pottery, going on a bullock cart, and watching the puppet show, and engage, and watching a performance, a Salambu performance or a Karagatan performance, and even engaging in these performances. And they get to see every house in the museum and understand our wonderful heritage and culture. Next, please. Festivals and special programs. Dakshin Tirtha is one place where you have programs throughout the year. We constantly bring in folk artists from every part of South India, all the 5 states, and we bring people from other states also. Once a year, we bring people from other states. We have done almost 18 states over a period of time. And this year, coming year, we're going to do the Northeast also. And we bring in crafts, arts, and performers from these regions. And the food also. Next, please. These are some of the folk performances that we have brought over a period of time. Devalatam, Kavadi, Kalagatam, Kaliyatam. Next, please. It's so important for guests, for people to see all of these performances, because nowadays there's a huge disconnect between rural India and urban India. So we are trying to bridge that gap and reconnect people with their wonderful heritage. This is from Kerala. Our Kathakali. Next, please. This is Thayyam from Kerala. Thayyam is a wonderful ritual art from the north of Kerala, and it's amazing to see them perform. You will be transformed into a different atmosphere when you see them perform here and in their actual places where they will perform. Next, please. This is another performance of the Andhra Pradesh tribal dance. Next, please. Again, Chittimala, Dallukunita, all from Karnataka. Lambanis from Karnataka. Next, please. This is shadow puppeteers, but from Kerala again. So wonderful to, you'll be mesmerized by seeing these people perform in their actual backgrounds. And we bring them here almost every year. Next, please. For the past 3 years, we launched a garden festival, street food and garden festival. So we have invited garden lovers and gardeners from all over South India to bring their plants and to display and sell their plants in Dakshin Tirtha. People, it's become a great success. People come from all over to witness these garden shows. Sadly, this year we couldn't hold them because of the pandemic and the lockdown. Next, please. This is the street food that we organize every year. Street food. We have vendors who make traditional dishes from various parts of South India, and these are cooked and served there and served to the incoming guests. We have sometimes on these days we have more than 3,000 guests coming to partake in the festival. Next, please. Next, we have a festival every year called the Dance, Art and Music Festival, the DAM Festival. This is mainly to attract the millennials, the young crowd and young visitors. So it's all revolves around dance, art and music. So the connection is gone. Next, please. Surabhi, connection is gone. Yes, come. Oh, it's okay. So this is part of the festival. This is part of the festival. Next, please. So many workshops, so many activities take place during that time. This is a new initiative that we did called the Gramya Makkal Tirunal. This is to organize traditional village sports, village activities in the museum, and we actually invite everybody from the vicinity, the neighborhood, to come free to the museum and enjoy themselves for 2 days. So this is a local kabaddi match which is being organized inside the museum. Next, please. So we also honor artists. So this she's a Sadir artist, and we have honored her by giving her a citation and award. Next, please. Educational programs. It's so important to have educational programs for the young generation and for the future generations. So we have a big team just to do all these programs. Next, please. This is a quiz in progress. We have 2 premier quizzes, English quiz and Tamil quiz, which are very sought after by the Chennai public. Next, please. We were interacting with children, performers interacting with children, the potter interacting with children. The potter is the main USP for Dakshin Tirtha. People come and spend maybe around, in a day we have more than 200, 300 people queuing up at the potter's studio. Traditional games at Dakshin Tirtha. Children are encouraged to come and play traditional games in the museum. Palangari. Next, please. We have an amphitheater which can seat around 300 people, and students and guests get to partake and witness so many lovely performances there. This is the bullock cart ride that I was telling you about. Children love to enjoy this lovely ride. We take them along the outskirts of the museum. Next, please. That's a guest house in the background. We teach folk performance also to children. Next, please. This is an arts management course that we have recently started to teach the future generation about how to manage and work in the cultural sector. Next, please. Next, please, a classroom in progress. Next. Art and craft workshops. We conduct art and craft workshops almost every weekend. So there are overnight stays possible, and they can come during the day and work in all these workshops. Next, please. This is a workshop in progress. They are doing a Kerala mural workshop. Sorry, this is a Kalamkari workshop. So we have the actual Kalamkari artists working with all of them and teaching them how to create a lovely piece of work. So this almost every week is being organized in Dakshinjita, a different craft each time. Next, please. Glass blower is a big attraction for guests to the museum. He creates masterpieces of glass work with gas and glass pieces. Amazing work. Next, please. A ceramic workshop in progress, teaching them how to make ceramic objects. Next, please. We even teach folk artists how to upgrade their skills. Many performers have been performing in the same ritual, in the same manner for so many centuries, but we have tried to evolve them and contemporize them so that the people in this present generation are attracted towards their performance. Next, please. Architecture. Architecture students come from all over India and overseas to study our museum, to study the buildings, the plans, the details of every house in the museum. So it's become mandatory for architect colleges to send their children to Dakshinjita for 1 day to study our museum. It's become a part of the syllabus now. Next, please. A class in progress by one of our famous architects, Benny Kuriakos. He is a student of Laurie Baker, and he's a green and conservation architect. And he built most of the rebuilt most of the buildings in Dakshinjita. So he's talking to students. Next, please. Friends of Dakshinjita. We have a good support group which is known as Friends of Dakshinjita. More than 250 members, and they support us in programs and fundraising also. These are some of the programs they help us in. Next, please. Exhibitions. So every house in the museum, we showcase the lifestyles of the people who lived in that period, as well as we have thematic exhibitions in the museum, which people come and see. This is a Vahana exhibition. Vahana, the Vahanas of the gods are displayed here. And the Milo festival is being screened in the TV there in the background. Next, please. This is a lovely display of the dowry of a Chettiar family. We thought we would showcase in a room so that people can identify each of the artifacts in this dowry display. Next, please. That is a lovely Kalamkari exhibition in one of the buildings, which we brought in all the Kalamkari artists and did a 2-day seminar and opened this lovely exhibition. Next, please. Art galleries. We have 2 vibrant art galleries in the museum. They showcase the works of upcoming artists and very renowned artists also. We showcase their arts and work. Almost every 2 weeks, a new display is shown in these museums, galleries. And it's amazing. In a way, people get to see art in a museum, whereas they wouldn't go to a regular art gallery, wouldn't have the time to go to an art gallery unless you are interested in art. But here in Dakshin Tita, you are able to witness and see art and interact with artists unwittingly. That is because you will be, while going around the museum, you will invariably come across these lovely art galleries with lovely works. And that is how you get exposed to various kinds of artwork. Next, please. This is another art gallery display. This is another gallery display. Next, please. This is an exhibition in progress. Weddings in Dakshin Tita. We conduct around 35 weddings a year in the museum. It's a wonderful space for weddings. It's become a destination venue for weddings. People from all over India also come, overseas also come to get married here in this lovely space. It's actually surrounded by Kerala homes. And where else can you have a wedding in this kind of an atmosphere? Even premium magazines, wedding magazines have done features on Dakshin Tita's weddings. Yeah. And this is a banquet in progress in one of the houses. People book the spaces for luncheons and dinners and engagements and so many other programs here. Next, please. We conduct so many seminars, national seminars and international seminars in the museum. Next, please. These are all some of the seminars that have been conducted here. Next, please. Outreach programs. Our craftsmen are given a huge platform for displaying and creating works of art in the museum. And we also encourage to go out to other parts of India and overseas. This is a craftsman that we took to Germany, and he was working there for a month. So we do that also regularly. Next, please. Same, a ceramic artist who we took to Germany. So okay, next, please. We are present actually in almost all the trade and tourism fairs in India. And this is a trade fair in Chennai, in northern Chennai, where we had a lovely stall to showcase the museum and our crafts. Next, please. We also attend all the international fairs and to showcase the museum. This is the last fair that we attended in Berlin, ITB Berlin. Next, please. Employees' day out and families get together. This is Dakshin Tita is a favorite venue for employees' day out and for families to have get-togethers here. We sometimes have more than 300 employees come and spend the entire day here doing so many activities. And next, please. Doing pot baking. Next, please. So this is how we market Dakshin Tita for a while. We have stickers for all the vehicles that come in. We put this on each of the windshield. Next, please. These are the birds and the flora of Dakshin Tita. We have numerous birds in the museum premises, and we have so much flora in the museum premises, all local species of plants have been planted, plants and trees have been planted, and we have all the trees and plants have been named, and people can get to understand all of them. And it's a paradise for bird lovers too. Next, please. Dakshin Tirtha. We have been a success story. In 1996, when we opened our gates to the public, we had around 9,000 guests. And today it has risen exponentially. And over a period of time, we have now, the last year, we touched 244,000 guests from India and overseas. This year has been terrible in the sense we were locked down for 8 months, and it's taken a huge hit on our resources, but we hope to bounce back in the coming years. Next, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nambiar. Yeah, can you hear me? Thank you so much, Mr. Nambiar, for this lovely presentation, virtual tour, in fact, of Dakshin Chitra. And I'm sure now, now I think we'll have a few, we'll open the floor for questions. Let's wait a bit, because today my laptop was behaving a little crazy because it was just missing slides. It was going very fast, though. So if I press, if I intend to change one slide, 3 slides will change. So yeah, I tried my best. Never happened before. Anyway, we have a first question. We have a first question today from Chandrasekhar. But before I go to that question, I want to ask you one question before that. You were with the Madras Crocodile Bank Trust.
Yes.
And you have an experience in handling reptiles, particularly snakes and crocodiles.
Yes, it's a passion of mine.
From snakes and crocodiles to living traditions, how did that shift happen? It's almost like a paradigm shift.
I have not shifted. I still am passionate about animals. I'm still passionate about conservation and art and crafts. So both of these go together for me, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. So both the reptiles and the living traditions goes together.
Yes. I've always been passionate about art and conservation also.
Right. So it was like easy kind of a thing for you to move from the Crocodile Bank to Dakshin Chitra.
Yes, because if anybody in the neighborhood sees a snake, they will immediately call me also. I tell them not to kill the snake, please.
Yeah.
You should preserve it. I catch it and then I release it in the forest.
How fascinating. Mr. Nambiar, tell us something about the Irula tribes, which were traditionally catching snakes. I mean, are they still there? Do they still catch snakes?
Yes, sir, they are very much there. Actually, we were interacting with many Irula tribes, and we were supporting them in a big way. And we actually formed this the Venom Extraction Center that we started in the Madras Crocodile Bank. Have you heard of it? The Venom Extraction Center.
Yeah.
This was a livelihood that we found, we launched for the Irulas, because traditionally they were snake catchers.
Right.
Were snake catchers, and when the government banned snake catching and poaching years back, they were out of a livelihood. They had no money to sustain their. So we thought of, Romulus Whittaker, who started the Crocodile Bank, and you all got together and started the Venom Extraction Center. That is, they were allowed to catch snakes from the wild, bring them to the center, and venom was extracted from these snakes, and the snakes, without being harmed, were released back into its natural habitat after 4 weeks of venom extraction. They wouldn't be hurt in any way. So this venom was processed and given to Hopkins Institute and King Institute for processing. That is what makes anti-venom for today's snake.
Right.
And so many other treatments.
Yeah, Mr. Nambe, you mentioned that there are few rooms available for stay in Dakshin Chitra. Are tourists also allowed to book them, or is it only for
Yes,
artists
yes.
and
No, tourists can welcome to stay. Tourists are welcome to stay. We have rooms, we have dormitories, and we have recently acquired 2 villas also. So this
right?
space also people to stay as well as for wedding guests to stay also.
Right. This
And
was
so many education programs happen also as students overseas also to stay with us and do programs.
right, right. This was a question from my colleague Indrajit Rathore. Now I am going to the question. Chandrasekhar is asking, hi sir, is it possible to arrange a small workshop for a group or FIT at Dakshin Chitra in which they can
Yes,
also
definitely.
participate? And what is the closing timing of the museum?
We open at 10
Yeah,
and we close at 6 on weekdays and we close at 7 on weekends.
right.
So
And this
workshops are possible. We can do any kind of workshop for any kind of group, small or big also.
right. And then what will be the duration of that workshop? Because as you know, our guests don't have much time in hand. So if you're talking about a day workshop, how long will that workshop be? Will it take a full day, half day?
Maybe you can do half day programs, you can do full day, but some arts and some crafts actually will require more than a day also. So
Right,
you at least the entire day, so 10 to 5, 10 to 5.
right, right. Chandrasekhar, you
But
can,
we can bring it down to even 3 hours or 4 hours also, depending on the time.
right. Chandrasekhar, this is a fantastic idea to include a workshop at Dakshin Chitra. And whenever you may want to engage with local office Nagraj more, who will give you all the information. Ramesh
We
Chandra
even
is
teach them
asking,
a folk. We even teach them a folk dance in a short space of time.
yeah, folk dance. Yeah, the dance is always fun, and it
Yeah,
can be
yeah,
shortened up. Yeah, that is a
yeah,
very
yeah.
good idea. A dance
We
workshop is
have
always fun. 2-3
Yeah, yeah.
hours,
We have
good
six
fun.
month courses. We
Yeah,
have 3 month courses. We have 6 month courses. We have even 1 day programs for
yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. That dance program is always nice, fun workshop to do. Ramesh
Yes,
Chandra is
yes.
asking, can Dakshin Chitra be booked exclusively for a group?
Exclusive for group. In the evening we can. If you want to do a program after the museum closes, because we cannot close the museum for the regular public because people book their travel once and then come to us. So we cannot close. But evening after 6, they are welcome to
Take over the place,
entire museum.
right?
Yes,
And
and on a Tuesday also when we are closed on Tuesdays.
right.
So if a group wants to come on a Tuesday and they request us, we do open it exclusively for them.
Right, and they can take up the place and do lunches in one of the
Oh
houses, and
yeah,
all this
oh
can be
yeah,
organized, including a
can be done.
folk dance, and all the activities can be actually
Oh
done, right?
yes, yes,
Exclusively. Yeah.
yes,
That's
can
a
be
very
done,
good
can be done.
idea for incentives. Ramesh
Yes.
Gupta, Rashmi Gupta is asking, thank you. As Dakshin Chitra is huge, how much time it actually takes to visit all the galleries inside the museum? So minimum time required for a client to actually enjoy Dakshin Chitra, quality time,
Minimum you require 2 hours. Minimum.
two, 2 to 3 hours.
And you can spend the entire day and not have enough because there's so much to understand and so much to experience in the museum. So I see people come, they come for 2 hours and then I see them spend the whole day and then come the next day also. It's like that. But you need 2 hours at the least to
Right,
do justice to the place.
right.
And we have audio wands, which we introduced last year. We have audio application. You can download it onto your phone and it'll take you to entire museum explaining with the aid of stories about every house and every object.
Yeah, that's the next question which Pratik Srivastav is asking. Pratik Srivastav, as Mr. Nambia told you, there are audio guides available, and we do send a guide always with clients to Dakshin Chitra.
Which are downloadable onto your phone.
Yeah, that's the audio guide, and also we send a guide along with our clients
Yeah, yeah.
whenever a visit of Dakshin Chitra is there in the itinerary. Vipin
We
Nair is
have
asking,
all kind of guides. We even have historian guides like senior historians come and take groups around on request. If you let us know in advance, that can be organized.
right.
And lunches can be organized and everything. Yeah.
Okay, so Vipin Nair, I think your question is on first part of the question is answered, which is what is the ideal duration? What are your few suggestions for foreign clients who are staying for a night in Chennai? Vipin, we will be discussing this at the end with Nagraj and with also Mr. Nambiar inputs. So so hold on to this. Syed Junaid Ahmed, your question is already answered. Do you have a local guide who can brief clients about the museum? We always send a guide with clients. So whoever visits Dakshin Chitra, so that question is answered. Soma Paul is asking, do you celebrate festivals like Pongal or Diwali at Dakshin Chitra, and can our guests participate in these festivals during their visit? We were talking about it today morning.
Of course, festivals, like I said, is our prime USP. We celebrate all the South Indian festivals in the actual manner that they were performed in the villages and in rural areas. So we will bring in folk artists from that region. We bring in the cuisine from that region. So now today, artists have come to perform for Pongal. They will be here from today till Sunday. They will be performing. They'll be performing
All throughout the 7 days.
all through the 7 days.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we will be doing the actual Pongal ritual. So the whole Pongal will be made traditionally in the earthenware. It will be cooked over an open fire and distributed to all the guests who come to the museum.
Yeah, and
At the same time, while this is going on, the performers will be dancing, and it will be one festive scene tomorrow if you come.
Right. So, guys, please remember that Pongal, if you really want to see the authentic version, please plan it at Dakshin Chitra in your itineraries.
So, like this, we do all the festivals of South India.
Right. All the festivals of South India,
All
which
the
is
festivals
fascinating.
of South India.
Which is fascinating. Kuldeep Panwar is asking, is photography permitted inside?
Yes, definitely. We want people to photograph everything in the museum. But we have charges, of course, for photographer, for the camera, and we have special packages for photo shoots, for of course.
Yeah. So they are separate
run
charges.
This entire place. We run this entire place. This entire museum is run with what we generate through gate collection, through entry tickets. So we are a success story in the sense that we are sustainable. For the first 10 years, we were not sustainable, but now we are sustainable. We are managed. We are able to run all our programs and maintain the museum just with collection from gate revenue.
Right. Let's wait. I think we've answered all the questions. Let's wait for one more. There is something which Vipin Nayal is asking. We will discuss this before we close this webinar. Let's wait. Do we have any more questions? No, we don't have any more questions. So, okay, Mukesh Kumar is asking, do you have any language speaking guide, a guide who speaks foreign language?
Yes, we have a team of, we have a list of guides who speak foreign languages. And if we get the request well in advance, we will organize them.
Right. I think that's that's the question and answer session for today. I would like to go to Nagraj now. Nagraj, are you there?
Hi, yeah.
Hi, Nagraj. My first of all, my question, couple of questions for you. Why is Dakshin Chitra not there in most of our itineraries? What is the challenge? Because Vipin Nayal, as you said, he's talking about a client with just one night in Chennai. I understand the time constraints, but I see even for people who has ample time, Dakshin Chitra is not there in the itinerary. What is the challenge, Nagraj? because it's a
Right,
beautiful
right.
space which our
Um,
clients should see, because it gives them a complete orientation of South India, whether you're going from Chennai to Cochin or anywhere else.
True, true. Kuntal, one of the major things that I see is over the years, most of our itineraries, let's say one night in Chennai and next morning they check out and go to Kanchipuram to see the silk and couple of temples. And from there, they come to Mahabalipuram. So that's a different circuit altogether. Wherein this Dakshin Chitra is actually located between Chennai to Mahabalipuram in that side. So 90% there are chances that people will not want to come back, because from Chennai they go to Kanchipuram, and from Kanchipuram they go to Mahabalipuram for overnight, maybe one night or 2 nights. Then from there they continue up to Cochin or up to
Pondicherry.
Madurai or what exactly,
Yeah.
right? So that is, to answer your question, they give it a miss to Dakshin Chitra because of this reason.
Sadly.
But what is the solution, Nagaraj? How can we fit Dakshin Chitra into the itinerary? Because this is something which is
Right,
which
right.
is an absolute must do. Because,
Look.
for example, if you're doing a textile itinerary of Bengal, there is a very small museum in Bengal called the Guru Sadeh Museum. You have to see the
Yes.
museum before going on a textile trip, because whatever you're going to see on the itinerary is there in the museum. So, I mean, Dakshin Chitra, in my opinion, it has to be included. How do we include this in an itinerary? Keeping in
Right.
mind
No, I'm sure,
Kanjipuram and Mahabalipuram, because those are also must-sees.
no, we still do justice to Dakshin Chitra for what it is today. So it's not that I would not say none of our clients visit Dakshin Chitra.
Yeah,
We
they
have
do,
kind of
but
our
most of
own,
our clients don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
Is it
the
a
one
problem
option
with the-
is
Is it a
one
problem with the
option
opening of
is
the
that
museum timing?
I don't think so, Sharath. And
No?
what I would suggest, Kuntal,
I'm,
is for
you know,
our,
if you give me
devotees.
a special request, I will even open it earlier if you.
So see there.
So
Okay,
nice
so
of you.
that's thank you so much, Nagraj. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was trying to tell you, Kuntal, is anyways, one night is always there in Chennai. So the next day, what I would suggest is, if you have 2 nights in Mahabalipuram, so what I suggest is check out from Chennai, go to Mahabalipuram, and this place, Dakshin Chitra, is just very much on the same road. You don't have to take any deviation. From Chennai, if anybody is going to Mahabalipuram, they have to pass through Dakshin Chitra, just on the left-hand side on the main road. So get down there, spend easily 2 to 3 hours, depending upon the interest of use. Then by about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you will get to Mahabalipuram. You can still stay the night. And the next day, you can always visit Kanchipuram and then come back. So by
Right,
that,
so
you're not missing Kanchipuram. At the same time, you're also visiting Dakshin Chitra.
Right. So that sounds
So
very
this
pretty
will be one of the
reasonable.
options that you can. Yeah. And in case if you have some clients who only stay 2 nights in Chennai, they're not going anywhere else. This place is actually not very far away. It's just about 30-35 kilometers and just outskirts of Chennai. And with the roads are still better. Only the challenges, you have to navigate the traffic, which is unfortunately everywhere in the cosmos. But it's still possible. You can always go and come back to Chennai. It just takes about maybe overall about 5 to 6 hours.
So
It's still
we
possible.
basically we are talking about 2 options here. One, you make a day trip from Chennai if you have nowhere to go, if you're not planning to go anywhere, if clients are not planning to go anywhere, staying in Chennai. Second, you can do Chennai, Dakshin Chitra and go to Mahabalipuram, and next day make a day trip to Kanchipuram. That's what you were saying.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And in simple words, if
Yeah.
South India is a movie that you want to watch, Dakshin Chitra is a trailer, is a teaser.
Yeah.
So you visit there, you get a glimpse of what exactly you're going to see in various pockets and different days. There you will get to see the real life, real traffic, real today's life. Here it's more like in a miniature structure, but kept in a very humble, nice, calm place. You can take as much time as you want, enjoy every bit of what it has to offer you.
Right. I assume you love the place. Why do you love Dakshin Chitra apart from now, I'm not asking you from a travel agent's point of view where you say it's a microcosm of South India, but why do you personally love Dakshin Chitra?
And exactly, I was about to say that. I couldn't hold on to this. And because the moment you get inside, and just for the audience to know, somewhere the word museum may misguide you or mislead you. This is, imagine, is just like you're entering into a college campus or any huge institute. Is as good as like that. So the moment you enter, right from the reception, you will see some kind of a calmness and a very humble atmosphere. Maybe except some birds chirping here and there. Otherwise, it's very calm and nice. And every place is located in such a nice manner. You have a walkaways. You get into Chettinad House. You can actually touch and feel right from A to Z what it has to offer you. There are some actual real lifestyle pictures or lifestyle portraits of people who actually sit there. In a far distance, you will actually see a grandmother sitting on the Thinnai, but it is not. It is actually a portrait of a grandmother or somebody who's sitting there. Right from that, and of course, one portion is the houses. Another one is the artisans who actually do a lot of work. So you think, okay, you're done with it. But with you of moving to another house, you get to see an artisan doing some terracotta work or some kalamkari work or some work. Then your attraction or your attention actually diverts and you stay there, stand there, get to see something else. The moment you cross over, you see a peacock on your left-hand side. Something or the other keeps happening and you're always there.
That's how the space is. Actually, we say all our spaces are welcoming spaces. They do not. They actually welcome every person who enters the museum.
Right. Sometimes museums can be very intimidating. Though every museum is a wealth of knowledge.
Unlike that, we are totally unlike that.
It can be sometimes.
We call it a living museum.
Yeah, living museum. Yeah. I have some more questions for you.
Every space in the museum has been thoughtfully crafted. Every nook and corner, every pathway has been made, keeping all that in mind.
Right. I hope, Vipin, your questions have been answered. Farooq Kolu is asking an important question. Is Dakshin Chitra wheelchair friendly?
It is. At least 80% of the museum of the space is wheelchair friendly. But you cannot enter the historic houses because they have traditional doors and traditional doorways, which we will not tamper with. Then the authenticity is lost. So otherwise, you can enter till the house and then you will have to be carried over or something like that. But we have made sure the toilets and all the pathways, the whole center is wheelchair friendly.
All right. Pratik Srivastav is asking, do you have a calendar of events you organize if someone wish to plan in advance?
Yes, we do. We do.
Right, Nagraj, if you can just catch hold of the calendar and maybe send it, it will be very good for our colleagues to.
If you want, I can send it to you, but it's there on our website also.
Oh, it's there on the website as well. Also, it's there on the website. Do check the website, Pratik. It's there. And Nagraj, if you can just also circulate it, it will be good to keep it handy on the desktop or something while planning our Tamil Nadu itinerary. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you, Mr. Nambiar, so much for agreeing to be on this edition. I know you were struggling a little bit with your health, but thank you. You're not 100%, but thank you so much for agreeing to be with us today.
Thank you so much.
Please take very good care of yourself, and I hope to see you someday soon in person at Dakshin Chitra, because I have not visited Dakshin Chitra. I have visited the Crocodile Bank, but I have not visited Dakshin Chitra. But I'll definitely I'm excited to visit. Thank you, Nagraj, for organizing this today, for making this happen today. Thank you, Tejashree. Thank you, Saurav. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Nagraj.
And happy Lohri.
Happy Pongal.
Happy Lohri to everyone. Happy Pongal. Happy Magh Bihu. And
Happy New Year also.
And Happy New Year. Makar Sankranti. Yes, signing off today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Nagaraj.
Thank you. Good day. Thanks.
Thank you, Kuntal. Bye.